Last week at Cleveland, Paul Tracy races along Lake Erie and keeps the competition behind him as the young Canadian continues to dominate the 1990 American Racing Series. 5 wins in 6 races. The only dent in the armor came at Detroit when contact with the wall broke the rear suspension, helping Tommy Byrne to find victory lane as Tracy would limp home to 10th. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. Only miles from the Manhattan skyline, we're at the Meadowlands Sports Complex in New Jersey for the 7th race on the 1990 American Racing Series. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Lee alongside Derek Daly. And Derek, it was just a week ago we were at the Cleveland-Burke Lakefront Airport, a very forgiving racetrack, lots of room to get in trouble. Not so this weekend.
That's right. In fact, this is a totally different racing environment for the drivers this weekend. A very short course, very tight, very narrow, 31 feet wide at one particular point. But between the walls, a very small mistake can end your day very quickly.
Well, of course, the dominant force in ARS racing this season has been Paul Tracy. He again starts from the pole. But a driver to watch today is Ted Prappas.
That's right. Prappas leads the chase against Paul Tracy this weekend. He's been very good in practice. He's qualified on the front row of the grid here. I think another competitor worth noting is Cathy Muller. The French lady had her best qualifying so far. She starts in 4th place today.
Well, Chris McClure will join us. He'll be covering the pit area momentarily, but the order has been given. The engines have fired, and we are ready to go racing here at the Meadowlands. A good look at young Paul Tracy in the Sherwin-Williams Buick Wildcat. He leads the point standings with his 5 victories. Mark Smith, the rookie, the veteran Ted Prappas tied for 2nd. Then it's Tommy Byrne. And Eric Bachelor is 5th. He is a rookie. However, he is not competing here this afternoon. Only 13 cars in the starting field. Obviously, mid-season financial problems, Derek, for many drivers.
Well, that's right. In fact, 2 of the star names, Tommy Byrne, who's the most successful ARS driver with 10 wins, is not here for the 2nd race in a row. And Eric Bachelor, one of the most talented drivers we've seen in ARS this year, his financial situation precludes him from being here.
13 starters, and here is your starting lineup. The first row, Paul Tracy and Ted Prappas. Paul Tracy has won 5 of 6 events in the Sherwin-Williams STP entry. He leads the point standings alongside the veteran Ted Prappas in the Say No to Drugs PIG racing entry from Los Angeles. In row 2, P.J. Jones and the French lady Cathy Muller. P.J. the American Racing Wheels PIG racing entry. He had a 2nd in Portland and Cleveland last week. And the young French lady in the Renault entry, she had a 7th at Long Beach. In row 3, on the inside, Mike Snow, outside Mark Smith. Mike Snow, car number 26, the Bradley Food Mart special. He had a 3rd at Detroit and at Portland out of Denver, Colorado. And outside row 3, Mark Smith, the rookie in the Evergreen Aviation entry. He is 2nd now in points, tied with Ted Prappas. Row 4 on the inside, 2nd generation driver Justin Bell in the Aztec Young & Company entry. He had a 4th at Detroit. And alongside, outside row 4, Robbie Groff, another rookie in the Northridge Equipment Groff Motorsports entry. He was 3rd at Milwaukee. Row 5 inside, Robbie Buell, outside Marty Roth. Buell, the copper and brass sales entry. He was 2nd at Milwaukee. And outside, the Avro Group entry, a 5th at Phoenix for Marty Roth out of Toronto, Ontario. In the 6th row, Benicio Salmi and Mark Rodriguez. Salmi, the Italian, in the DM entry. He had an 8th at Portland. And outside row 6, Mark Rodriguez in the Sony Goodwrench entry. He is 7th at Milwaukee out of Van Nuys, California. And starting alone in the last row, row 7, the STP Lanford Racing from Toronto, Ontario. This is Tom Kristoff. As we look over the shoulder of the Buick car cam from the cockpit of Ted Prappas, he will start outside the front row. Ted, the real veteran in ARS racing, now tied for 2nd with the rookie Mark Smith.
That's right. Over the left shoulder of Prappas here, we see Tracy on the inside. They're just doing the final warm-up before they come up and hopefully get the green flag.
And look how narrow this racetrack is. I like your word, precise. This is a racetrack where a driver cannot make a mistake. There is the green flag. Again, a good jump for the young Canadian Paul Tracy.
It was a good jump. In fact, it looked like a single file start, and I'm sure that's not the way it's designed. In fact, I know that's not the way it's designed, but Nick Finoro decided it was time to get this underway, even though we had a single file start.
In 326 laps of competition, Paul Tracy has led 302. Not a bad season. A battle starting to shape up for second. It looks like P.J. Jones looked to the inside of Ted Prappas, but there was no room down there.
Look at Jones slide. We always expect this type of driving. Spectacular stuff from Jones. He's a front runner in everything he gets into, and these American racing wheels work extremely hard for Jones.
Well, of course, he's a very aggressive young driver from California with an abundance of oval track experience in digits, a lot of racing on dirt as well.
That's right. Look at Mike Snow in 4th place. And the top 4, which didn't include Mike Snow, were covered in qualifying by 1/10 of a second, which is the closest qualifying we've had this year in ARS. So Mike Snow wasn't in that 10th. Cathy Muller was, in fact, in the Rain-X car, who's leading a second group, which includes Mark Smith.
Concentration so vitally important on a very narrow, very demanding, challenging road course. Only 6 turns, 1.2 miles, and by even temporary road course standards, this is a very small racetrack.
This is a very small racetrack. A point of note here, Mark Smith in car number 6 has a new color scheme. This, in fact, is a new car for him. The one he wrecked at Cleveland is in England. His spare car wasn't available. This, in fact, is the car that Peter Lockhart drove earlier this season.
A car with a very bright paint job, not hard to see. There is Mark Smith right now in 5th position. He is tied for second in the point standings with the veteran Ted Prappas. We are coming to you from the Meadowlands in New Jersey. This race being brought to you by Buick and your Buick dealer. The Great American Road belongs to Buick. By Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Quaker State, the Big Q is One Tough Motor Oil. 1.2 miles, 6 turns here at the Meadowlands, and Paul Tracy continues to lead as we look over the shoulder of Ted Prappas. He rides in second. Then it's P.J. Jones, Mike Snow, and Cathy Muller. We're coming back. Stay with us.
Nutmeg presents Great Moments in Sports.
Halftime, Knicks Celtics. And I ate 16 hot dogs. A world indoor record.
We went to the ball game, then we got lots of popcorn, then we got...
Le bec, il m'a raté une fois, 2 fois, et puis, paf, pouf, dans la tête.
I was at this party, and this hunk of a quarterback came up to
These
me.
great moments brought to you by the Nutmeg Athletic Department, where real fans go for their team sportswear.
Now we'll play hide and seek.
I like what shampoo and conditioner do for my hair, but I love what Pert Plus does for me. Pert Plus is a unique shampoo and conditioner in one, so my hair turns out just the way I like it. Clean, conditioned, looking great, but without the bother of 2 bottles. Imagine, hair I like without the fuss. That's what Pert Plus does for me. If only everything in my life was so simple.
Wash and go with Pert Plus, now available in new family size.
All the deep-down quality that makes a Buick so enjoyable on a Saturday afternoon is forged in the heat of weekends we spend throughout the year. So while you're considering the ownership of a bright new Buick, rest assured that Buick engineers are out at the nation's racetracks, racing to make your new Buick even better. Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
Nothing beats a winning team, pushing hard, reaching for the dream.
See Kenny Bernstein in his Budweiser King drop-fuel dragster in 280-mile-an-hour competition at these NHRA Winston drag racing events.
Nothing beats a Bud, Budweiser. Budweiser. Nothing beats a Bud, nothing beats a Bud.
Good look at Mike Snow riding in 4th position right now, the Bradley Food Mart's entry, and he has a bit of a gap between the position in front of him, held now by P.J. Jones. Well, we've talked earlier about the nice qualifying effort this weekend by the young lady from France, Cathy Muller. With more on that, here is Chris McClure in the pit area.
Gary,
All right, 3 of the front 4 positions, of course, belong to people that are used to being up there, in Paul Tracy, Ted Prappas, and P.J. Jones. But Cathy Muller found this course to her liking, no question about that. Qualified in 4th position. That's 3 better than she'd ever done before in this her rookie season in ARS. The question is, can she sustain that position or improve on it as the race goes on? We'll see.
She's sustaining it so far. Mark Smith spins again, trying to get by Cathy Muller. Mark Smith spins.
And as so often happens, Derek, in motorsports, Marty Roth, the black 25 car, was at the wrong spot at the wrong time, had no place to go.
Absolutely the innocent party. Poor Marty Roth had nowhere to go. In fact, he's lucky that he didn't hit Mark Smith, because Smith did that 180 absolutely right in front of him.
Mark Smith has had a very trying season, but yet he's still second in point standings.
Here's a replay. He tried to get down the inside of Cathy Muller, got too much power on it, and just looped it. We remember when Cathy Muller pinched Mark Smith before at Milwaukee, and exactly the same thing happened.
Well, Paul Tracy is having the kind of season that drivers generally only dream about. We've seen domination like this in Indy cars in the past with A.J. Foyt in stock cars, with Richard Petty, but never in ARS competition. As once again, we're back in the cockpit with Ted Prappas. There's a good look at how bumpy this racetrack is and how narrow it is.
That's right. Prappas hanging on quite well to Tracy here. In fact, Prappas did almost identical speed to Tracy in qualifying. They were correct to 1/10 of a second. We're now inside, down the end of the backstretch. You hear the gear changes. They come down to a 2nd gear left-hand corner. That's Tracy right in front. 1 gear change up to 3rd gear. Little spurt, back to 2nd gear again. He's right behind Tracy. Tracy is not able to get away, and Prappas can see that. Up through the gearbox again. This is the fastest part of the circuit right here. That's a flat left-hander they were just about to go around as we go back to Cathy Muller. Again in the Rain-X car, now being chased by Justin Bell. Justin Bell having another good race, 2 in a row.
Justin, of course, the son of endurance driver Derek Bell, and I would think that that would have to add some pressure to his driving career, having a very famous, very successful racing car.
Well, I think it would add a bit of pressure, but of course the great thing is I think Derek is an excellent coach for Justin.
There's a good look at Justin Bell as he continues to chase down that black and yellow Rain-X car of Cathy Muller. This, of course, is the 7th stop of a 14-race series, so the schedule half over when this race concludes this afternoon here at the Meadowlands Sports Complex in New Jersey.
Here's where all the action is. Cathy Muller from France, the French lady, still battling with Justin Bell. That's 5th and 6th place. And then the 2 Robbies, Robbie Groff and Robbie Buell, having a little battle all to themselves, trying to catch Bell and Muller.
At a point like this, the cars are so evenly matched. Is it really the discipline of the driver, drive the car potential, the driver's potential, and wait for the person in front to make a mistake?
Well, of course, making a mistake is the worst thing you could possibly do. You have to drive it as fast as possible, run right on that ragged edge, but you have to make sure you stay just inside the fine line. We saw Smith overstep the boundaries a couple of laps ago, and you saw what happened to him. He's now out of the picture. But these people here need to be right on the ragged edge, but not enough to spin or make a mistake in a place like the Meadowlands.
A short, narrow race course like this would really dictate qualifying well, starting up front and having a great advantage to get a lead early as possible.
Well, that's right. Of course, here we see the top 5 with Cathy Muller. Exactly what the point you just mentioned. An excellent qualifying. Tracy, Prappas, Jones, Snow, and Muller.
Come on, Kong, I want to go to Texaco. I want to play the Texaco Win Big Sweepstakes. I could win the grand prize, a Jeep Wrangler, a well-crafted sport boat, even a trip to Universal Studios, Florida. They're giving away over $400,000 in prizes. Oh, you beast! There are 2 ways to win. Collect game pieces or win instantly. Oh, Kong!
Play the Texaco Win Big Sweepstakes.
You big A.
Millions of winners walk to work every day in FootJoy. Now, winners on the course are winners in their field. FootJoy's stability, quality, and comfort are now in a dress shoe. Benny's Discount Shoes is the largest seller of FootJoy dress shoes. Winners wear FootJoy dress shoes made in Brockton, Massachusetts, and available at Benny's, located on Piedmont Road, Cobb Parkway, and Indian Trail Industrial Parkway.
The New York Giants, poised for a championship run. The Houston Oilers are waiting in the House of Pain. The Giants battle the Oilers Saturday night at 8 Eastern, live on ESPN.
ARS time capsule takes us back 1 year here at the Meadowlands. Mike Groff would take the lead from Tommy Byrne at the start and lead the early lap. Benicio Sami would spin after losing his engine cover. Paul Tracy battles with Steve Shelton and Johnny O'Connell. Ted Prappas makes contact with Daniel Campo. The in-car camera shows the closest of competition as Shelton gets nudged by O'Connell. But on this day in the Meadowlands, Mike Groff would lead flag to flag for the victory en route to the ARS Championship and a springboard on to an IndyCar career. And today, Paul Tracy is leading, going for his 6th ARS victory, and certainly he'll use this as a springboard on the IndyCars.
Absolutely. He is the talk of the paddock right now about his ability to lead consistently, to dominate, to set his car up. Paul Tracy is using this as the perfect showcase for his talent. Ted Prappas, though, is still in second place.
But the gap has certainly widened between first and second. Right now, a lap car Marty Roth between those first two, and a big gap back to third. There's Mike Snow. He has moved to third place, but a long way to go to catch Ted Prappas.
Long way to go. Still having a good race in the Bradley Food Mars entry. Mike Snow. We saw Mike finish third in Detroit and Portland, so third place is the best he's done so far this year. First place, so it's still Paul Tracy. Look at Marty Roth.
Well, Roth has had his problems during this race. The second time he has had a problem spinning, and well, make it the third time.
Make it the third time. Again, too much power from this Buick engine. He put it on far too quickly. Rear wheels spun and around he went. We're back inside with Ted Prappas. Right over his left-hand shoulder, Ted Prappas, see him move the steering wheel. Little correction, little down change, down through the final right-left S's, and heads off after in his pursuit of Paul Tracy. Here's a replay of Marty Roth. Looks like he locked the rear brakes under braking for the right-hander. Now he backs it up, sees that he's clear. One car goes by, which looks like Tom Kristoff. He then selects first gear, gets on his way, but right here, he puts too much power on. Look at those black streaks being left right there. Wheels are spinning, and around he goes again. Very lucky he didn't actually tag that wall on the left side and damage those front wings.
Well, Robbie Buell makes a move to the inside for 5th position around Robbie Groff.
At long last, he took that position away. Right down the end of the backstretch, Robbie Buell sneaks down inside Robbie Groff.
Well, Paul Tracy picked up the $1,000 STP award. His total winnings this year over $93,000, and Buell gets by Cathy Muller. He has picked up another position.
Robbie Buell very much on the move here in the closing stages. You see Robbie Groff's car just on the top of the picture there. No sooner had Robbie Buell pass him than he actually dropped out with a mechanical problem. But Robbie Buell now has 4th place.
Well, he has 4th place as we are looking at the white flag. 1 lap to go for Paul Tracy, and he continues his domination. A win here would be his 6th this season, and that would set a season record for ARS competition.
Now look what's happening. Robbie Buell, in fact, closing in on Mike Snow that just lapped for another time. Mark Smith has had a disastrous afternoon. Here's Tracy, the last time down the end of the backstretch, just about to put another lap. I doubt it he will, though. I don't think he'll want to take the risk of making the pass, but that's Tom Kristoff.
That's his teammate out in front of him.
His teammate, in fact, his car owner. So I don't think he'll put another lap on him, because Kristoff, in fact, running without front wings.
And here comes the checkered flag for Paul Tracy. This will be his 6th win this season, his 7th overall, and he is closing in on Tommy Byrne, the record 10 victories in ARS competition. The domination continues.
The domination does continue. Here's Mike Snow. Look at Robbie Buell. Looks inside, then goes outside. What's happening here?
This is the battle for 3rd position on the final lap. Snow is 3rd, Buell is 4th.
Robbie Buell absolutely came to life in these closing stages. Took 5th, took 4th, and almost challenges for 3rd place.
Ted Prappas will take 2nd position, and there is 3rd place to Snow. 4th goes to Robbie Buell. So a good late race effort for Robbie Buell, and there is your victor, Paul Tracy.
All the deep down quality that makes a Buick so enjoyable on a Saturday afternoon is forged in the heat of weekends we spend throughout the year. So while you're considering the ownership of a bright new Buick, rest assured that Buick engineers are out at the nation's racetracks, racing to make your new Buick even better. Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
It's one of the most technologically advanced, most rigorously tested fluids on Earth, relentlessly measured for maximum protection against the friction, the wear and tear, the heat and stress of today's engines. It is today's Quaker State. In Europe, in Japan, in America, Quaker State quality has passed the most demanding tests automakers can throw at it. At Quaker State, we don't just say we're tough, we're tested tough. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
Sunday night, batting champion Tony Gwynn trails in his quest for a 5th title. He mounts his charge as the Padres face the Astros. It's Sunday Night Baseball, live at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Baseball tonight. You're watching ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
Victory lane at the Meadowlands. Your winner, Paul Tracy, standing by with Chris McClure.
Once again, it's Paul Tracy. And again, you dominate from the pole. And again, you make it look easy, and I know it's not.
Well, Ted put a lot of pressure on before we had the restart, the yellow flag. Ted was on me there for about the first 20 laps and pulled out a little bit of a gap, got the yellow. The accident happened right in front of me, so I knew there was going to be yellow coming out, and I got a good restart, and I just put a bunch of consecutive fast laps together, and I pulled out a gap on Ted, and I think Ted might have got, once I pulled out a gap, he might have slowed up a bit to protect his position, because he had a good lead as well. So it may have looked easy, but it was a hard job.
Paul Tracy again wins it with Prappas in second. The top 5, Mike Snow, Robbie Buell, and Cathy Muller. In the second 5, we have Tom Kristoff, Marty Roth, Mark Rodriguez, Robbie Groff, and Mark Smith.
Had a couple of chances to make a run at him.
Yeah, we stayed close a little bit at the beginning. We're just still not quite right, I don't think, on the setup to make it last the whole way. It picked up a lot bit of push at the end, and we really just tried to stay as close as we could, and that's really what we did. And then just kind of waited and waited, hoping maybe something would go wrong with him and stuff. But nothing really much. Tried basically as hard as I could the whole time.
The ARS campaign, as you mentioned, gentlemen, is half done. Paul Tracy's won 6 of the 7. Early this year, he ripped off the first 3 and then was derailed at Detroit, falling back to 10th position after that last lap crash, and then 3 straight now. Nobody in ARS has ever won 4 in a row, and Paul Tracy, once again, in a street car situation, will be looking for his 4th victory to set that record. He's going to do it in Toronto, in front of the hometown fans, which will indeed provide a little more drama in the Paul Tracy saga of 1990.
Well, he is breezing through this season toward a points championship with a big lead over Ted Prappas. Mark Smith is 3rd, then Tommy Byrne and Mike Snow. Today's race has been brought to you by Pert Plus, shampoo plus conditioner in 1 bottle. 1 step to great-looking hair. By Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil. By Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when. For Derek Daly and Chris McClure, I'm Gary Lee. Thanks for joining us. So long from the Meadowlands.